Evening, it's 6 o'clock, and we are going to call to order the April 24th, 2024 board meeting of the Incorporated Village of Port Jefferson. Deputy Clerk Pelton is here today in the stead of Clerk Perillo, who is off on vacation, a well-deserved vacation, and she just couldn't make it back in time tonight. But we have the wonderful Mary Pelton to stand in. And so the first thing we'd like Deputy Clerk Pelton to do is call to confirm the presence of a quorum. So.
Thank you, Mayor. Trustee Cassay?
Present.
Trustee Laux?
Present.
Trustee Biondo?
Present.
Trustee Giuliano?
Here.
Mayor Shepro?
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum, and also present we have Attorney Moran, Treasurer Gafka, and as you said, Clerk Perillo is absent tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Deputy Clerk Pelton. We have one announcement to make tonight.
Yes, the next upcoming Village Board of Trustees meeting will be a work session beginning at 5 o'clock on May 8th, 2024.
Thank you very much. Our first order of business tonight is to invite Chief Andy Owen up to the podium and our Suffolk County Police Department representative to give our public safety and welfare update.
Hi, everybody. I'm Casey Berry. I'm from the Suffolk County Police Department. I work in the 12 unit. This is working. Probably the rest of the unit.
Okay, all right. So every month we come here and we tell you what's gone on in the village in the previous month as compared to this time last year. So I'm happy to report that your criminal incidents have gone down. So what I mean by that is last year there were 17 that were reported criminal incidents where somebody can be arrested or was arrested, and there's only 12 this year. The things that were reported that maybe some arrests occurred were mostly domestic in nature. That being said, it was like, domestic meaning significant others, parent and child, property being broken, that's like called the criminal mischief, an aggravated harassment where somebody's threatened, harassment's like where somebody's like kicked, pushed, or punched. So those are the things that have been reported and a lot of arrests that occurred. Another thing that happened was an ID theft, and I want to mention that to you guys, not just because it happened in your community, but it's happening a lot everywhere. And I'm saying in this particular case, somebody wrote a check for $49,000. Yeah. So just be aware of who you're giving your information to, who you're giving access to your bank accounts to. This is not just seniors anymore. This used to be a very vulnerable population, still is our senior population. But with technology, with computers, with AI, people able to mock your, copy your voice. Just be aware of when you answer the phone. Be careful if it's a number you don't recognize. If it is a number you don't recognize, we recommend you don't even answer the phone. It's just another way they can access your phone. So anybody in your communities, we do have a financial crimes unit. They can always come and do presentations. We do that in 55 and older communities and other groups of people. So just know that that's something that the police department can do at another time, provide a presentation like that where you can get some more information. But back to what's occurred in your community, in terms of calls for service, total calls for service, you had 253, as compared to last year, 233. That's including everything from car accidents to medical aideds as well as crimes. Your total non-criminal incidents did go up. That was 241 versus 186 last year. So that's just people calling us. Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be criminal. It could be you needed us for any sort of disturbance in your community. Some things I want to speak to that came up, I think it was last month with my partner who was here in attendance, were things related to traffic and enforcement that was requested. We do something that's called a patrol check, where we ask our patrol officers to conduct enforcement based on the things that you're reporting to us that you'd like to see us do more enforcement on because of what you're experiencing in your community. So I want to tell you that since March 18th, one of the things that was reported was unreasonable noise and disturbances related to exhaust, very loud on Main Street in the areas here. This is a very ubiquitous concern. I'm hearing this all over the 6th precinct community. But here, specific to here, we've had officers visit the area of Main Street and sit there for a period of time specifically for this violation 60 times since March 18th. Unfortunately, no summonses have been written, but I want to report to you that this has occurred. Just so you know, again, coming back to let you know, these are the things that we are doing in response to your concerns. Additionally, because this has been such a chronic complaint from this community, as well as some others, I spoke with our commanding officer of the precinct. His name is Inspector Kondoff, and he's going to be doing a precinct-wide initiative for a period of a week. He didn't give me the time frame yet, but he's going to do an initiative where all officers throughout the precinct are going to be enforcing or writing summonses or enforcing these types of complaints, because it's happening everywhere, and this has been, I know, a chronic complaint, especially in these warmer months. It's going to be, I'm sure, increasing here in the community. It's a beautiful place to live, but I know it can be very loud and disruptive, right, in the summer where we attract some other people, right? Another thing that had come up that was initiated as a patrol check on March 11th was enforcement of speed enforcement on the area of Liberty. I don't know if that came up last month during the meeting or if we got a phone call for that. It's not exactly clear, but it may have come from New York State, actually, DOT. But at any rate, to let you know that there's been 63 visits to that location just solely to conduct the enforcement. Only one summons has been written. Again, that's just to remind you, this is officers. We sit there in marked units in these cases, so we might just be deterring the things that are occurring. But it's still at least helpful in conveying to the community that we're out there. This is what we're looking at. And you might see a drop just by our presence. And that's why we need to rely on you when we no longer do this enforcement in about a month or so, because we have to move on to the next thing. We need you to continue to tell us what you're seeing and what you're hearing, okay? And then finally, the blocking the box at North Country Road in Thorne. There were 41 visits to that location since February 29th. And no violations have been written for that. But again, we've been there and we've been enforcing that. Just to give you some feedback as to the things that we've been doing in response to your concerns. The precinct community meeting that happens at our precinct that's conducted by our inspector, Inspector Kondoff, will be, the next one is May 14th. That's not going to be the precinct. It usually is, but this month it's going to be at the Terryville Fire Department, which is not too far from here, just south on Terryville Road in the corner, right on Terryville Road and like 112 kind of there, if anybody knows where that is. So again, at 7 p.m. And the reason why it's there is we have something called a precinct level advisory board that has been initiated since the beginning of this year. Those are some individuals in the community who are going to meet with us in the precinct to be able to get some information from the police department and be able to give us feedback and recommendations as to how we can better help the community. So because they are a part of our meeting, we're having it out in the community. So all are welcome. We'd love to have you there. You can get some more information about what's going on community-wide within your 6th precinct. And if you have
What time is
any,
that meeting?
I'm sorry, 7 p.m.
7.
on Tuesday, May 14th. And if you have any other questions, or concerns for me, yeah, go ahead. Hi. Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. I can, oh, we're off. Okay. Barbara Sabatino.
Barbara.
2 Westview Avenue, Port Chatham. About 2 weeks ago, Sheep Pasture Road was closed off.
Okay.
And my neighbor said to me that somebody had driven into the Lawrence Aviation opening, stopped on the railroad tracks, The train came, stopped in time. The guy gets out, climbs on the diesel engine, and strips naked. And and then another person told me this, but my neighbor showed me the Facebook videos. So it wasn't in the record, it wasn't in Newsday, and it's killing me that I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Do you know what happened?
I don't. It's the first
You
I'm
don't?
hearing of it. Sorry.
No.
It does sound like a
I know what happened.
mental health. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you,
It
sir.
was done by the MTA police.
Oh,
They
okay.
did it. MTA police took it over. And the guy, it was a mental health thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
The only thing I could think of was at least he knew he didn't have a gun on him,
Yeah.
but I never found out
Yeah.
so he just took him for a mental health checkup.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that. Specifically, when anything occurs on the tracks like that, MTA, that's their jurisdiction. Usually we work obviously with them. We advise them something's occurring like that, and then I guess they handled it from there. So thank you. Go ahead. Hi.
You have no choice but to go up here. Suzette Smokler, 22 Loretta Gate. It's this time of the year, and I'm really glad you're here. I have an issue, a safety issue, motor vehicle issue. And I'll be happy to go out. These people have heard this story a million times. And there has been improvement with less hazard because the village did cut down trees, which makes a particular turn, left or right, safer. But now we're getting the foliage back. What I had asked for or asked to be looked into, I don't know what you call those signs. They blink. Sometimes they're near schools. Sometimes they're telling you what the speed limit is and how fast you're going. What does it take to get one placed where it's obvious that it's National Speedway? Now, I had brought it to the constables because there's a neat little place to park if you're a police officer. And it's on a road called Gladys, and you'd have full view of the speeding, and yet the speeder wouldn't have advance notice of seeing the police. The village people explained to me that they don't do that. That
Speed
it's-
enforcement.
So,
what you mean?
could you help me out with that?
Well, so I hear a two-part thing. I hear about the speed enforcement. It's Gladys is the name of the street that you,
The street that I live on that's very, very dangerous to come out of is Loretta Gate,
Loretta. Okay. Yeah, I
going
wrote that
on
down.
to North Country Road.
Okay. So that's,
And the cars that are coming from the Mount Sinai area, no disparagement, coming from east to west,
yeah.
come around very, very fast, not allowing people that want to turn off of Loretta Gate to go left or right safely.
So with respect to the speed, like kind of like what I just reported in terms of the patrol checks, what I can do is create a patrol check for that location and ask the local sector car operators
That
to
would be
enforce
great.
speed. With respect to signage and trimming of, I don't know, the property, the trees, if this is already been
trees have been
discussed already.
taken care of. I think
Okay.
it saved lives.
Okay, good, that's great. And in terms of signage, that would be the village that would, or the highway, town, whatever, yeah. That would could speak to that issue in terms of
Thank
signage.
you very much. Your help.
Yeah,
is
and what's your first name? Suzette?
Suzette.
Okay, thank you, Suzette. Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you. Is this okay?
Oh, maybe a switch?
I know.
There's a switch.
Is it good? Yeah? Okay, great. All that to say, thank you. I feel so lucky that we have Officer Berry. I've been to these precinct meetings. She's very responsive to our community, other communities, and I'm really grateful to hear that you're taking that initiative to tie together these issues that are affecting different communities and bring that to your higher ups to initiate these larger conversations and fixes. So thank you so much for being our liaison and all the work you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Ties it all together. It's so nice when it all comes together, right? That's what it's about. Oh,
Hello, Arthur Epp, 206 East Main Street. On April 5th at 10:24 in the morning, we experienced a minor earthquake. About an hour and a half
not-
later,
It wasn't our fault. Just kidding.
understood.
Sorry.
About an hour and a half later, I got a message from New York State on my cell phone informing me that we had experienced a minor earthquake. Needless to say, this didn't really instill confidence. I'm just wondering what special protocols the Suffolk County Police might have under such circumstances. And I also just want to note that I can say a couple of our local code officers did instill confidence because I encountered them soon after the earthquake. I think it was Code Officer Peggy, an assistant chief. They found a wire that was going across Arden, and they blocked it off so that preempting a possible accident. So I'd be very interested to hear how you handled that particular.
I'm not all that well versed in our emergency protocol in terms of our communication systems. That would be outside of my community affairs purview. What I could do is, if you want more specific information on that, I could look into it and report back to you next month for sure. Because I definitely would want to be clear in answering that question so everybody can be aware of how the Suffolk County Police Department would handle that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody
Anyone
else?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Officer.
Thank
Perry.
you. Sure,
You
you're
wanna
welcome.
stick around for Chief
Of course,
Owen's
yeah.
report?
Madam Mayor, members of the board, residents, Officer Berry, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So our report for April, past events that we've had, the Easter Parade was March 31st. And as a matter of fact, today we had the Steeple Fest on Brook Road. Both events went on without incident or issues. Actually, today went very smoothly, as far as I'm concerned, with the bus situation on Brook Road with the Steeple Fest event. We have the speed trailer out for a period of 2 weeks from March 25th to April 8th. It was out on Pine Hill at Ellen Drive. I'm sure most of you saw it. As a matter of fact, 5,323 people saw it or passed by it. 3,879 of those people, 72%, were law-abiding citizens. Unfortunately, 1,444 people, 28% were not. So those 28% of the people traveling down Pine Hill towards Ellen Drive went over the speed limit. 3% of those vehicles went 10 miles over the speed limit. So you can see they're going actually more than 40 miles an hour down the hill. The average speed was 26 miles an hour, which is 4 miles under the speed limit, which is nice to know. And the maximum speed recorded was 45 miles an hour. Okay, so that's kind of a curvy road, and the gentleman that brought it to our attention, his complaint is warranted. So that's a result of the speed trailer, and as a matter of fact, the speed trailer is out and about now. I'm not going to disclose the location. If you come upon it, I hope you're doing the speed limit. Something that we've been wanting to unveil, and I worked closely with the mayor on this, is the Code Enforcement Bureau has moved to what's called zone-based patrol. It's similar to what the precinct does with sectors. We've divided the Village of Port Jeff into 6 zones. Every officer working a certain shift will get assigned a zone. If there's less than 6 officers working, they'll get divided up. If there's 2 officers working, they'll each get 3, and so on and so forth. Within those zones are patrol checks. Officers are required to make those patrol checks and report back to the supervisor that they in fact did go to that patrol check, make sure everything is okay, whether it be Village Center, Centennial Park, Rocket Ship Park, the tennis courts, basketball courts, whatever, what have you. So they're assigned to these zones, do the patrol checks, report back to the supervisor, and the whole idea of this is to increase presence throughout the village. Everybody likes to hang out on Main Street, and that's where all the action is, but people that live on the outskirts, they deserve our attention too. So this will increase the visibility, if you will, of our officers in the outskirts of town, and we'll also familiarize the officers with the area. So if you're not familiar with what's in Zone 6, oh, I know what street that is, or I don't know what street. Oh, I finally found out I know where that street is now. Like if I asked them where Thorn Lane was, a lot of people don't know where Thorn Lane is because it's from here to there. You know, there's maybe 6 houses, but, you know, this will familiarize our officers, better response time if a job comes over, and we'll be able to get there quicker and safer. So that's something that, like I said, we work with the mayor closely on, and, you know, we're excited about it. It's been going on for almost a month now, and I'm hoping that you've seen an increased visibility of our marked vehicles in your neighborhoods. Our incident recap report for March, total incidents responded to was 48. Out of those incidents, the major incidents were assisting aided cases, suspicious persons, and also assisting other agencies. We've been getting that more a lot, it's English. We've been getting that more and more lately with assisting the other agencies, be it EMS, Suffolk County PD, FD, and MTA. Jimmy and myself, we were at the train incident when that happened. We were there probably, you know, we got there before MTA got there, but the gentleman had already disrobed and was already on top of the engine. But that incident could have gone very bad, and through Port Jeff FD, MTA, Suffolk County PD, all these organizations getting together, our code officers blocking traffic, letting the ambulances come in, the fire department apparatus, I think that was wrapped up in about an hour, which, relatively speaking, I've worked in the city and I've seen things like that last all day. So relatively speaking, that went off without a hitch, and, you know, kudos to everybody that responded there and, you know, got the gentleman off safely and hopefully he got the help that he needed. But so, like I said, our agency working with other agencies, I think is a big thing, and, you know, we all get along. Our summons recap for March, total summonses written were 259. Out of those, the majority were for uninspected vehicles, no parking or standing, overtime parking on the street, and parking without a permit in our resident lots. Total of 18 warnings were written. So that note, I just want to bring everybody attention, in case people don't know, as far as Main Street, East Main, and Arden and West Broadway, the time frame that you're allowed to park. That's where the overtime parking summonses come from. With our PJ3 vehicle and also with our handheld scanners, we have the ability to scan the license plate. And if on Main Street it's 1 hour, if your car is there for more than 1 hour and we scan it again, it tells us that you've parked there more than an hour and you could get a summons. East Main and West Broadway is 2 hours. So that's where those overtime parking summonses come from. Let's see, what's next? PJ3, our ALPR survey, our license plate reader survey for March. 124 passes to the Arden resident lot. That was, PJ3 was in service for 58 times, and 22 summons were written for parking without a permit in our resident lot. And out of our 37 employees, 23 are qualified to operate that vehicle, and that's 62% of our employees. I'll bring up Chief Investigator James Murdacco for our field report.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. At this time of the year, we usually see an increase as the weather warms up. People are out on the street. We've taken notes, try to keep meticulous notes on services that are needed. Most of them are at the train station, individuals that are kind of stuck in a position at the train station and have nowhere to go. The officers that work quality control are equipped with giving that information out. As we've had some disorderly behaviors, as of March, we had 7 issued tickets, and I believe right now we're up to 3 for April. As I'm going on my 11th year here, this is the time where Main Street, Arden, Mill Creek, the Meadow parking lot, those areas get flooded with people in the warm summer nights, and some of the behaviors are usually called into our phone. We're pretty proactive with addressing the train station. I think I've mentioned in the past the Perry Street, Linden, up in those areas. We constantly keep moving. We constantly will float from downtown to uptown. We don't really sit in one particular area. And I think that that behavior has been beneficial, not only for just looking out for somebody that is doing something they're not supposed to be doing, but for any sort of other related, such as aided. We finished our train station patrol, I think, about 2 weeks ago. We drove down Belterre Road, we came down the hill, and just as we pulled up at the fifth season, somebody took a fall from the top of the stairs all the way down to the bottom onto the pavement. We were able to render aid immediately and assist with that call. I'm looking forward to a good season, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Owen from the? Sure.
As far as, I always mention it, our Facebook page is Official Port Jeff Code Enforcement Bureau. And I'm happy to report that we almost have 300 members. That's
Nice.
shock. But anyway, so there's 300 people out there that care about what's going on with us. So I put a post up today, something that I observed at Centennial Park, unleashed dogs. I just want everybody to know, whether they're here or out there in the interweb, if you're in Port Jeff, your dog is required to be on a leash. Just because they're on the beach and they want to run around on the beach and chase and fetch the ball and whatnot, they're still required to be on some form of leash or some form of restraint. That's written in the village code. It's also written on the sign as you enter Centennial Park, AKA Dog Park. So I just wanted to put that out there in case they haven't seen the post on Facebook that the dogs are required to be on a leash. Okay, and finally, any issues you may have, reach out to code 631-774-0066 or email myself, aowen@portjeff.com. And any non-emergency issue that you would like Suffolk County to know about, the 6th Precinct, 631-852-COPS. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, concerns? Mayor, board?
Thank you. Thank you for putting together the zone program.
Absolutely.
And
And
I'm very much looking forward to seeing how
I'm
that
happy to
plays
report
out.
that is, if I do say so myself, it's working very well.
Good. Wonderful.
Have a good evening, folks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all. Now, moving on through the agenda, I am so proud tonight to announce this next agenda item. As mayor, I am very passionate about this initiative for several reasons. Because I worked at Stony Brook, and for 16 years, I experienced the best 16 years of my career, I have to say. I had the privilege of communicating about the smartest, most talented, most influential people in the world whom I've ever met, and I've met a lot of people, while working at Stony Brook, and collected an intimate knowledge of what this great university has to offer and its incredible contributions. I also had the privilege of working beside and for and alongside 3 presidents, including President McGinnis, who's here tonight, several hospital CEOs, including Carol Gomes, who's here tonight. I worked alongside several vice presidents for student affairs, including Rick Gatto, who I'm so happy to see here tonight. And I also had the privilege of working with several athletic directors, including Sean Halbern, who's here tonight. I didn't report to these people directly, but I was responsible for that, for responding to them, and I was accountable to them. So, and I also see Judy Griman here, who I didn't expect to see here, the deputy to the president, senior vice president for government and community relations, who I had the privilege of working for and with as well. So it's good to see you here. And Heather Banoub, who is the community relations representative that we've been working with to bring this together tonight. So it's good to see you here. And then my colleague, Joan Behan Duncan, who I worked with for many years, and we worked side by side together in the Media Relations Communications Office. And John Griffin, who is the Stony Brook University photographer and also a Port Jeff resident. So good to see him here. And I don't, Yeah. So, and also, and also Dennis Murray, who's in the back somewhere shooting this video. And, oh, there you are, Dennis. So just really good to see you all here today. But it was such a privilege to work alongside you. And they're all here today, the pillars of our campus. And in Port Jefferson, we are so lucky to be here as a resource and a respite for the 40,000 plus, it might be 46 or 50 by now, people who live, work, and study on that beautiful, amazing campus down the road, 6 miles down the road from us. And now, I would like to invite all the Stony Brook representatives, including President McGinnis, to come up so I can read a proclamation and present it to them. Because we're announcing tonight that Port Jeff is once again Seawolf's country. Where do you want us? Come on up.
They always get them together. For you behind.
For photo purposes. Nobody here. You can hold this up. I don't have a mic, so I'm going to speak a little bit loudly. Over to this side, please. And Rick. Balance this out a little bit. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Jewel. Okay. Whereas Stony Brook University is New York's #1 public university and has earned its highest ever rankings from the U.S. News and World Report. And whereas Stony Brook University Hospital became our region's first academic medical center over 4 decades ago, and Stony Brook Medicine has consistently been a leader in healthcare. And whereas the relationship between Stony Brook University and Stony Brook Medicine and the village of Port Jefferson continues to grow and expand, with more than 500 faculty and staff and nearly 250 students living in Port Jefferson. And whereas the Stony Brook campus brings internships and research to Port Jefferson to improve the health of its residents and the larger community. And whereas Stony Brook has been a long-standing member of the Port Jefferson Chamber of Commerce and has been a partner, supporter of countless Port Jefferson events and traditions. Whereas Port Jefferson Harbor is the home of the School of Marine and Atmospheric Science research vessel, the Seawolf, which provides a valuable service region-wide through research, large-scale oceanographic, sampling and traveling, and whereas the Village Center in Port Jefferson is a venue for various Stony Brook activities, including OLLI classes and Stony Brook Foundation events, and whereas Port Jefferson EMS, who is here in force tonight, thank you, Chief Stasser, houses a unique residential paramedic training program to help ready Stony Brook students for successful careers in medicine. Welcome all of you here tonight. So good to see you. Future employees. Therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Port Jefferson hereby declares the village to be Seawolf's country, welcoming Stony Brook University and Stony Brook Medicine students, faculty, and staff to live, learn, work, and enjoy all that the village of Port Jefferson has to offer, including patronizing the village's restaurants, bars, stores, and lodging establishments, helping to drive economic growth and helping the village to flourish. Thank you so much. Would you like to say something? You want to do pictures first?
I'll do it too.
So on behalf of everybody who is here, our students, but really the entire Stony Brook community, I could not be more excited to accept on behalf of Stony Brook University this great proclamation, and go Seawolves.
Put the top down towards me a little bit. Yeah. Move over just a little bit. Move over. You're physically. No, Rebecca.
I'm gonna get shorter.
Okay. 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 Everybody look here. Okay. And we're doing with the banner too, right? Can we do it?
Yes.
Right?
I'll hold the banner.
Somebody else can hold this. You guys can hold that. There you go. Cool.
Good?
Nice. Yeah.
All right, look here. One, two, three.
We'll see these up in a couple of weeks, right, Heather? Yeah, they'll be on light poles, at the gateway locations into the village and up the hills. Very exciting. We're so excited. Thank you. Good luck with everything. Thank you. Thank you. So welcome, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item tonight is a presentation from the Port Jefferson Union Free School District, Deputy Superintendent Leister and Superintendent Schmidt are here tonight to present the tentative school budget for 2024-25. Okay, welcome.
Thank you very much for having us. This was started many years ago as another opportunity for the school district to present their annual district budget in collaboration with the village. So thank you. And yes, we are excited to be Seawolves country. We always consider ourselves Royal Nation, but we do a lot of participatory activities with the university, including our STEM program, where students actually go to the university to experience hands-on learning and things like cancer and research that we could not provide them at the school district. So we're happy to have that partnership with Stony Brook. And before I get into the school district budget, I also want to thank Chief Owen, who is here, and the mayor for your help today with the Steeple Fest. We did work together, and we appreciate your efforts to control the situation on Brook Road, and also at our recent NISMA festival, where we had students at the elementary school. So thank you for your efforts there and helping some of our neighbors control the parking on the street as well. So thank you. This is a great opportunity for us to share with village residents our upcoming school budget. This was probably one of the most difficult school budgets that Mr. Lester and I have had to go through, mostly because, as many of you read in the newspapers, the executive budget from the governor was not approved until literally this weekend. So really up to the minute, you're getting the most up-to-date information that we have even yet to present to our Board of Education, although they're aware of the changes. Mr. Lester actually just updated our presentation with incoming revenues as of today. So you are literally getting the most updated information. At the Arbor Day Festival, I just spoke to Assemblyman Flood and thanked him for his efforts and the efforts of many of our local leaders to get the funding restored to